Eric, last evening, an American hero and terrific friend of mine, Pete Hegseth, who served his country and then became a TV host, was announced as Secretary of Defense. He is not a neocon. He's not a war hawk. He's a creative thinker. And the world is losing their mind. The media is. Erik Prince, your reaction to Pete Hegseth being announced?
I am very excited about it. It is definitely a change of pace of the normal swamp dwellers that have led us to ruin over the last 25 years. I think a historical comparison is apt. When George Marshall became Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army in September 1, 1939, the same day that the Nazis invaded Poland, he set to firing lots of flag officers and even a lot of colonels, many, because they were all prepared to fight the last war. And we have now the same amount of flag officers in the United States Armed Forces as we did in World War II when we had 14 million people in the armed forces. Now we only have less than about 1.3 million, so 10%. So there is an enormous amount of culling and cutting and reforming that Pete Hegseth needs to do. And I and my entire network of friends are ready to help him in any way possible because the Republic needs to be defended. And the Pentagon consumes $1 trillion a year of our national wealth. And yet they cannot protect even 1 inch of the U.S. border with Mexico. And they've managed to be defeated consistently in the Bab el-Mandab off of Yemen, one of the world's major shipping ways, a choke point, being defeated by the Houthis. So, yes, he steps into a very big job with enormous reforms that needs to be done. And I think he's the man for the task. And I'm also proud to say that I've swam across the Hudson River with him from New Jersey to the Statue of Liberty, to Ellis Island, to Battery Park multiple times. I was a SEAL. He's an Army guy, and he did it magnificently. I am extremely glad with President Trump's pick.
So I think what you're saying is really important. We have this false impression that the current state of our military is healthy. And we're not indicting the heroism of the troops or the valor of the rank and file. But our military is sick right now, and it's sick to the core. We lose to the Taliban. We lose to the Houthis. We blew 5 years of munitions on Ukraine. We need key parts from China. A lot of our weapons are 20 or 30 or 40 years old. The state of the U.S. military is far more damaged and honestly infected than anything the media would tell you. Erik, do you agree with my assessment?
100%. A sad comparison is to look at the bloat of the Pentagon and how overpriced the weapon systems are. It's about the same as Mark Milley's level of fitness. Look, there needs to be a reinstallation of discipline across the ranks. Hard young people will join the military if they see hard leaders leading them saying, follow me into battle, instead of go there and sit in a half-assed deployment for months at a time without being allowed to finish the job.
What Erik is highlighting as we try to reestablish connection is, so you would rather have Mark Milley? You'd rather have Lloyd Austin?
Hear me, Charlie?
I want to remind you, 1 second. Yes, I can, Erik, but let me just finish my thought. Is that some people in the U.S. military would rather have Lloyd Austin, who had to be secretly hospitalized because this guy is overweight with 2 chronic conditions. Let's just look at the media backlash here. Let's go to Joe Scarborough. I think this is the media backlash around it. Let's go to 375.
The Pentagon is a massive bureaucracy. I served 4 terms on the Armed Services Committee, and I can tell you that even the most experienced general, admiral, CEO that went into the Pentagon got spun around in circles. It's a lot easier to say what you're going to do on a podcast than it is when you're actually over at the Pentagon. And people that think that generals and admirals that have given their entire life to this country are going to just roll over is a serious misreading of the Pentagon. But we'll see what happens.
Whoa, Eric, this is very important. I hope I still have you here. I don't know what's going on with the connection. Do we still have Eric? Yeah. Eric, I'm just reading the biography here. So has Mark Milley, for example, did he ever see frontline combat? Because some of these guys have never seen frontline combat. Some of these, I don't know him in particular. Can you please add that distinction where, Joe Scarborough says, oh, these generals put their life on the line. Some of these generals went right, again, perfectly admirable. They went through ROTC straight up to the officer corps and never had to man a brigade or a commander battalion front line. Eric, is that an important distinction? Because Joe Scarborough's conflamed. Pete Hegseth lost friends and was in the front lines and took enemy fire. Erik Prince.
You have a huge disconnect between a lot of combat vets, which have seen real combat and lost friends and eaten a lot of foreign dirt in the pleasure of serving the country, while bureaucrats, senior officers may have wanted to serve in combat, but didn't, and for whatever reason. For a while in Iraq, we actually had 93 flag officers on the grounds, 93 general officers, all of them there, I would say, polluting the place because they had so many staff and so much bureaucracy with them. It prevented any kind of decisive decision-making to act. Trillions of dollars, thousands of dead Americans, and we also know how Afghanistan ended. So it's a disaster, and Pete Hegseth, I believe, is the man for the job, and a lot of people will help him get his job done.
Erik Prince, thank you so much. Please come again soon. We really appreciate your time as always. And until next time, we love Pete Hegseth's appointment. Thank you so much.